I'm Sunil Kumar Poddar, and today we are going to discuss about the India, China and LAC. Let's begin with the LAC. So LAC is an agreement in 1993 that is bilateral, a boundary between China and India. So here there is no concrete settlement on the ground position between the countries like India and China. The LAC separates Indian controlled territory from Chinese controlled territory. It is about the 50 to 100 kilometer distance maintained by the armies of both India and China. Here, the China government considered LAC around 2000 km, while India considered the LAC 3488 kilometers long. So we have seen there is a violent clashes took place between India and China at Galwan Valley in Ladakh along the line of actual control with reported casualties on both sides. The incident took place in the Nakula sector and in contested area near Pangam So, a lake in Ladakh that thought to be resolved by local commanders as per mutually accepted protocol through dialogue and flag meetings. This kind of incidents do occur as boundaries are not resolved. So, India-China border can be broken down into three sectors. The western sector is the disputed one. Aksai Chin region, part of Jammu Kashmir. India claims the entire Aksai Chin and Sakskam Valley. India territory gifted to China by Pakistan. The Saksham Valley is that one. China contests India control over Daulat Beg holding, a tehsil in Leh south of Aksai Chin. Central sector undisputed one. Although China has recognized India's sovereignty over Sikkim and had initiated their trade at Nakula Pass. The eastern sector, Arunachal Pradesh border that China claims during 1962. PLA occupied it. Nowadays, almost whole of the Arunachal is claimed by China. Here you see the map where we have some boundaries and it shows about LAC is there. And there's a lines, colored lines are there. You clearly see there that how LAC is working here. But Gilgit-Baltistan, that is Pakistan occupied Kashmir, Pak need NOC, that non-objection certificate from India to do anything here. But instead, there is a CPEC working here on the Indus River where Diamer Bhasha Dam is constructed there by Pakistan. Dam that is creating water scarcity in the lower region of Pakistan. So the dam creation by the China project is affecting the whole water resource that affect our Pakistan and that Pakistan going to face in nearest future. And another one is Azad Kashmir, that is not a Pakistan occupied Kashmir, that working as an independent, but the illegal interference and control by Pakistan is here. Still, there is no help from India because India doesn't want to interfere. Let's talk about the history of China-India line of actual control and how it started. In July 1954, Nehru wrote a memo directing a revision in concern of boundaries. Here Chinese government sought 12,000 square kilometer of Indian territory as its own, which later the Premier of People Republic China pardoned it as error in the maps. Tension fumes when India provided shelter to Dalai Lama. Mao stated that the Lhasa rebellion in Tibet was caused by Indians. This threatens Chinese and become one of the reasons for the Sino-Indian. In October 1962, China People Liberation Army invaded India in Ladakh. India, in terms of military manpower, training and had logistics. India in terms of military manpower, training and had logistics. Weak in those conditions. The ceasefire and the border war in 3 months of 1962 changed Southern Asia. Even the east across McMahon line in the north. East Frontiers Agency invaded by Chinese. Mainly 4 agreements signed in 1993, 96, 2005 and 2013, where 3,488 kilometers from Ladakh to Arunachal Pradesh still unresolved. No demarcated line of actual control clarified till now. Soldiers patrol either China or India have different perception on LAC. According to 1993 agreement, the two sides shall respect and observe the LAC between two sides for peace and tranquility along LAC. Further, in 1993 and 96 agreement, agreed to reduce their respective military forces mutually agreed geographical zones along LAC. India catching up with China, who already enjoy an advantage in both terrain and infrastructure. Standoff in Ladakh have been triggered by China to obstruct border infrastructure upgradation activity. India also complete Daulat Beg Oldi road which connect Leh to Karakoram Pass. India and Chinese troops engaged in a face-off along line of actual control at Nakula, Sikkim and near Pangong So Lake, eastern Ladakh. Nakula sector is a pass at a height of more than 5,000 meters above mean sea level in the state of Sikkim. Here we are going to discuss about the 15th June 2020, where 20 troops and Indian commanding officer were killed in the face-off in Galwan Valley. On 15th June, commanding officer of 16th Bihar Regiment, Colonel Santosh Babu went up to Patrol Point 14 to check where Chinese broke the protocol of agreement. The face-off of 15 June 2020, here the Galwan River originates from Aksai Chin and reaches the Sayok River known as the River of Death also. There is a particular point at which Galwan River takes a sharp turn left and later meets to Sayok. Patrol Point 14 is just ahead of the confluence of Sayok-Galwan River. Indian troops have traditionally patrolled till Patrol Point 14 but never built a camp or structure. Similarly, Chinese also patrol up to Patrol Point 14 from time to time and the spot where the two sides meet to talk also. Early May, Chinese tent was spotted at Patrol Point 14 and Indians challenged this construction in May itself. Also confronted a group of Chinese soldiers who were attempting to track down to their Sayok River. Chinese later dismantled its stand and went back to their sites beyond Patrol Point 14. However, both sides had built up troops were literally a standoff at Patrol Point 14. With 40 other personals including officers and unit videographers, the Indian moved to remove the tent heading by commanding officer Santosh Babu. Slowly, verbal spat, then situation turned into pushing. At this time, the Indians outnumbered the Chinese. On 15 June 2020, slowly, due to verbal spat, a large group of Chinese soldiers came to the spot and armed with the iron rods, stones, even sticks with nails and barbed wire on them. Chinese attacked commanding officer and the Indian soldiers. Since the commanding officer was forefront, he was hurt and fell in the icy cold water of the Galwan River. Indian soldiers fight back and managed to wrangle the weapon being used by the Chinese. The attack on the soldier of India was planned since the fight was happening over the ledge. Many soldiers from both sides fell into the icy cold water. It was Tuesday morning by the time a rescue was possible. In hand-to-hand the combat, many Chinese soldiers were grievously injured as per the source said. The Chinese were again overwhelmed by the Indian troops and they ran off to the main area of Patrol Point 14, behind which there was Chinese buildup. A group of Indian soldiers chased them and crossed over what is the line of actual control. 10 soldiers were held captive since Chinese had a bigger buildup than that returned on Thursday. And here are the expected reasons behind the June 2020 clash. The first one is China has for the first time publicly laid claim to the entire valley, which would give the Chinese troops a dominating position on India. Darbak Sayok Daulat Beg Ulti Road, which run along Sayok. India strongly opposed the India-Pakistan Economic Corridor, a multi-billion-dollar project that served as a flagship of India Belt and Road Initiative. is the another one reason for this clash. A part of Kashmir region are controlled and administered by China too. To resolve such clashes by both countries, there are some ethical approaches. The top military commanders of India and Chinese armies are meeting in Ladakh, Chushul on Tuesday, last week of this month. On 25th June, meeting between diplomats under the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on India-China border affairs happened and referred the agreement and understanding reached between the foreign ministers. Ministry of External Affairs of both sides should respect and observe such situation keenly. Two commanders met on June 6, held on Moldo, Chinese side of the border with Chushul. The process to define and detail of disengagement taken up at the meetings. Since the last meeting on June 22, there has been minuscule reduction of troops in the frictional pockets seen. Even if this solution not comes out with meetings, flags meeting and diplomat, situation arise to decrease economy of the party by government. Like recently on 29 June, tit for tat retaliation starts, where Indian government now banned 59 Chinese applications including TikTok and UC browser and many other applications like this, and withdraw contracts of construction and from telecommunication various 5G projects also. Obviously, war is the extreme decision for both countries where bloodshed and economic loss is there. So, military and diplomats should consider it as a major conflict and its best solution. With military and border security to maintain our sovereignty peacefully, we should resolve until it is resolved. Media and public in media must respect country and keep them far from the blame game that affect our country information that is useful for the other country, because it helps them a lot. No doubt, if there's an eye on our land and region, our military and we people should be ready. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Have a nice day.